Before the video begins, I'd like to ask you all to please do anything you can to help out the people of Palestine, be it through donating, doing your daily clicks, or simply just speaking up about the genocide that they're going through. Any bit of any of these will help out a ton. I'll leave relevant links in the description below. Now onto the video. Hello there, viewer. Have you ever wanted to be cold, starving, bleeding out, forced to scour around in the shadows, desperately looking for anything that might be even slightly useful to you, while anything with the slightest semblance of a pulse is trying to tear you limb from limb? But you don't want to play Stalker. Well, my friend, welcome to Decaying Winter, a game for the mentally deranged. It's a wave-based survival game where every night you have to go out and scavenge supplies to hold out against the waves like ammo, guns, traps, and weapons, along with medicines to keep your terminal cancer you got from playing too much rogue lineage at bay, aka your viral infection. This infection can't be fully stopped, but only halted. You can have up to 4 other players with you who can help you or just give you constant morale, which is a debuff you get whenever a teammate dies. It stacks up to 4 times, which is extremely fun and enjoyable, and basically reduces all of your stats. It can be remedied in 3 ways: having everyone survive a full night, using an orange stim, and dying. Now, you may be wondering, well, why don't I just play solo so I never get morale? That's because this game is meant to be played with other people. I mean, the main menu basically always has some clue about how you should work as a team or face the wrath of Green Squidward. And if you've seen Night 10 or Scav War, I'll get to that, you'll realize fairly quick that you're gonna need people to fall back on, especially when there's an AK scav in your face poking you with the unmatched power of bubbles. These guys are pretty common, so get used to losing half of your health to a common enemy that makes 0 noise and can instantly target onto you. Don't worry though, there are things somehow even more terrifying than that lurk around the map. Reikgon Demons. There's only 4 in the game, those being the Skinner, which pretends to be a regular scavenger then transforms when you get too close and shanks you for all your valuables. These guys really aren't too bad if you know how to parry or you're expecting them, but they can cause a lot of trouble otherwise. The Hanger, which puts worms into your brain that force you to make the obligatory mode to your god joke. The Hidden, which is an invisible bastard that whispers in your ear and can insta-kill backstab you. Lastly, the Sickler, which is like the Witch from Left 4 Dead except a lot worse. Because once they get angry, they don't calm down, ever. They will then proceed to run around killing everything they can find. Once one of these things get aggro, it's basically every man for themselves. Of course, you can just not be a dumbass and avoid it, but sometimes there's that one scavenger that decides it's a great idea to attack the dark, evil, scary shadow monster in chains that's minding its own business and not doing anything. And if it isn't a scavenger, then it's that one teammate that thinks they can solo a Sickler. Heads up, you can't. At least not without a lot of firepower. Now, you, as a new player hearing all that, are probably a bit horrified.
What do you mean there's scary, evil shadow monsters and people with guns who want to attack me?
Well, don't worry, my friend. The best way to learn how to swim is to jump right into the open sea and hope for the best. Which is why I've captured your family and will be forcing you to be Night 10 if you ever want to see them again. Don't worry though, I'll give you some advice. Firstly, use your agent with the T key. It has all kinds of useful information and lets you eat the rations you get from killing scavengers without the sentries. I mean, you have been killing scavengers without using your little bitch baby turrets, right? It also lets you drop ammo for your starving artillerists, see stuff about your weapons, and get a view of the map. As you can see, you have the outpost and the mountain available to you. The tower is kinda irrelevant and the castle is off limits. I mean, you could try going there, but good luck. It's a fortified base full of powerful scavengers with guns and home to one of the like 2 bosses in this game. The Sledge Queen, who has the ability to bash your skull in with a giant fuck-off hammer of death. Needless to say, don't go to the castle. And something even more important, don't simp for Sledge Queen. There are consequences if you do.
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
Now, I bet you're glad that all of those scabs with guns are sitting in that castle and not going to your base. Aren't you? I bet you sleep well knowing that they won't launch a full-on assault on your base on any night between 5 and 9. Aren't you? Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. One of the most terrifying things in Decaying Winter, even scarier than a Sickler, is the dreaded Scav War, where basically every scavenger has a gun and they have an increased spawn rate, and obviously they launch a full-on attack on your base with guns and kill you. You die. One more thing to be careful of are the traps that are littered around the map. There are about 4, which is the generic snare trap, which just slows you and deals no damage, the poison spikes, which are spikes, that deal damage and make you sick, which means you throw up, the flare, which alerts every scavenger in the entire universe to your presence, and the dynamite, which I don't want to talk about it. Only players are able to step into these traps, by the way, though you also have some of your own, which I won't be getting into. I don't know why scavengers and Reikgon Demons have immunity to them, but they do. Thankfully, you're able to crouch through all the traps except for the spike one, though I really wouldn't recommend doing this, especially for the dynamite due to how janky Decaying Winter's sprinting and crouching can be. Well, I warned you. Anyways, since you're a dumb, stupid idiot noob, you also probably don't have stuff unlocked, but I'm sure after spending some time playing you've unlocked some things, so let's head on over to the main menu and get you a loadout. First thing you want to do is go to trades and pick 3 of them. Do it. There's no downside to picking 3, they're all benefits. I'm being serious, I'm not fucking with you or anything. This is pretty important for your survival as well. I recommend going Tormented, Dependable, and Fearless as a new player. Usually you'd pick traits based off of your perk, aka class, but you haven't unlocked those yet, so you're stuck with stinky, stupid, boring, lame Survivalist, which only has a backpack and full food and water at the start of every game. No ability, no nothing. By the way, you're able to get a backpack regularly and rations by, you know, killing scavengers. Yeah, you're probably not going to be having that much fun until you unlock the rest of the perks, which I'll call classes from now on at level 5.
Actually, Survivalist is boring because, well, it is. You're just bad.
Guess what?
I don't care.
I'm the coach, and the coach knows best.
Continuing on, classes are essential to your loadout, and each of them have upsides, downsides, and ability bound to the F key. I'm sure you're wondering which each of them do and which ones to pick. I would like to talk about all of them, but that'd take way too much time, so instead I'll talk about a few I either enjoy playing or think are interesting to talk about. Starting with the Hive Mind. Have you ever wanted to harvest the power of 10,000 scarabs? Well, now you can with Hive Mind, a class that allows you to summon your scarabs on any unsuspecting enemies that have wronged you. Your Hive Actuator has 3 modes for summoning critters to suck the life nectar out of any scavenger giving you trouble. First is Disperse, which summons your little buggies in a decently sized square radius on top of you. Second is Divide, which summons them in a straight line in front of you instead of in a radius like Disperse. And lastly, Direct, which will command your little scarabs to go harass a random innocent scavenger near you. While a scavenger is being harassed by your little bugs, they'll take damage, be slowed, and be sick, which means they'll occasionally vomit. Hivemind is primarily a support class, slowing down and damaging scavengers so that upper classes can deal with them easily. Now, I have nothing against any of these classes, but Hivemind is kinda brain dead easy. Don't let that discourage you from playing it though, as it's a really fun class and great for new players. I highly recommend going them if you're just starting out, and the team can always use a Hivemind. Always. Just not more than 1 or maybe 2. Next, my personal favorite class, the Arbiter. Now, if you're familiar with the wildly popular indie first-person shooter game made by Akiba known as Mega Murder, you know about the Knuckle Blaster, the arm you steal from a stupid red fuck in the last level of Limbo. Yeah, it's in Decaying Winter. I'm not even joking, it's just a Knuckle Blaster. With some tweaks. Those tweaks are, instead of absolutely decimating everything in front of you whenever you press F, you just hit them with a napkin from a little kid's birthday party. However, the Arbiter has the secret ability to do the Ultra Parry from Super Kill and turn this weak little slap into the embodiment of getting skull fucked by a big bro. Why did I add this in the script? Allowing you to clear entire waves in an instant. The issue is it's incredibly hard to time it, taking some practice. I recommend just trying to hit the shot while doing mundanes throughout the night to get a feel for the timing. Don't worry too much about cooldowns since this thing recharges in 10 seconds and like 99.9% of abilities. It doesn't have any sort of ammo, so you can do this infinitely. Also, don't use it on a surface that's too close to you. And also, make sure not to steal kills from upper classes who need them like Vagabond, Executioner, or Apostle, no matter how fun and dopamine-inducing it might be. I know better than anyone the rush from getting a multi-kill with a single long shot. Your Augmentation Knuckle Boom, yes, it's actually called that, even gives you the ability to launch yourself into the air. It's unfathomably simple, since you literally just gotta look down and press F. Just make sure to be careful while doing this, because fall damage. Now, with all these cool tricks, the Arbiter must have some downsides, and those 2 downsides are heavily reduced reload speed and heavily reduced hipfire accuracy. This class doesn't really need guns that much as long as you're consistently able to hit long shots, and frankly this class doesn't need anything if you can hit long shots. Oh hail the F key! The Berserker, however, only needs their trusty crack stem. Berserker allows you to become a drugged up caveman that hits everything with a giant fucking hammer. Great for those who are confident in their melee abilities, but do be warned that even if you can beat a sickler before it gets fully enraged, that's not gonna save you from the Scav War. So beat your rocks responsibly. Oh, and by the way, no hate to Berserker players, all of them are pretty chill from what I've seen. It's just funny to call you guys cavemen. Now, for my former favorite class, the Vagabond, also known as Kira. Vagabond's ability is to slash a katana in front of them. For each kill you get with this katana, you'll get a dog tag, which gives you faster movement speed, makes your katana recharge faster, and I think it makes your sword do more damage. Each of these get capped at a certain number of dog tags. You can also hold F to use up your dog tags to heal. Each dog tag heals 10 HP each, and only the ones required to heal you to full health will be used up. Vagabond has quite a few drawbacks, however. For one, taking too much damage will cause you to lose some dog tags, so say if you get sniped by one of the completely silent snipers that walk around the map and have ridiculous range and can deal half your health instantly, you'll lose half of your dog tags. Vagabonds are also really squishy, having less max health and less defense, so if a sledger sneaks up on you, regardless if you have 4 morale or 0, you're probably dead. Just gone. Erased from the face of the earth. No trace of you. Speaking of vanishing without a trace, the Drifter is a class. Now I would make the obligatory edgelord joke here, but I have morals. And a semblance of originality. The Drifter is allegedly a melee frontliner, but the Drifter is actually more of a support class, with them being able to cloak their teammates and pick off scavengers for ration or during waves so that they can steal kills from the starving Vagabond and Executioner. They have reduced health or defense, I don't really remember, so it's probably a bad idea to actually try and use them as a melee frontliner. They're really good Sledge Queen bait though. And lastly, the Damned. Don't play this one. Seriously, just don't. And that's all the classes, and everything I wanted to talk about. Ah shit, I forgot this was meant to be partially a review as well. Well, that's how it was originally meant to be anyways. So, what are my thoughts on Decaying Winter? Well, it's a good game. Shocking! It really should be repetitive, but with all the classes, challenges, and secrets this game holds, it manages to stay fun as well as having an actually decent learning curve. If you have someone around to actually tell you how the game works like how I did. But you did watch this entire video, so you should be fine, right? Right? Now of course, this game isn't perfect. No game is. Although most deaths in this game will be your fault, sometimes you just kinda get fucked over with nothing you can do. Like sometimes the Sledger just materializes and one-taps you when you're at max health. Or sometimes you can just not find any pills until you're nearing or on stage 3. It kinda just comes with the nature of a game like this, however. I also think this game should actually have a tutorial of some kind. Now, this may be a bit controversial, but I think games should be able to be reasonably understood without having to look at someone else's video on YouTube. Even if the loading screen tips you only see when you're joining the game and nowhere else, were added to other places, it'd help out decently. I see a lot of players like to make fun of novices for not knowing stuff, but how can you blame them when the game decides to not tell them jack shit? And I understand that a lot of this game is discovering things for yourself and that it's meant to be difficult, but it really annoys me how so many good games on Roblox just don't tell people a damn thing. It's more of me complaining about Roblox games in general than Decaying Winter, but it applies here. Anyways, now for the part where I talk about stuff I personally want. Now I know the original developer of this game, ArchXMS, is no longer working on it, and it's being manned by a different team entirely, so they probably don't want to make too many changes that would alienate the player base, so I'll try to keep my things I want to see section realistic. BORD! First, I want to see at least one more map. I mean, Eden 227 is an entire planet. There has to be more than just crossroads. Like, what if there was a version of glass houses, or maybe something entirely original? The game has all of this with just one map, so imagine if there were 2. And second, I'd like to see a bit more variety in the enemies or more factions. It's evil shadow demons, Sledge Queen Castle, and the end. It'd be cool to see an enemy that forces you to approach them a bit differently. Maybe some shield enemies that don't just lurk in Sledge Queen's castle doing nothing, or more enemies that are agents like us. Like a hive mind boss or an apostle enemy. That'd be cool, I think. And that's all of it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm trying to hit 3,000 subscribers before 2025. What? What do you mean I forgot the last Stranded? That doesn't even exist. Cue the outro. Cue the outro!